Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about lead qualification. Okay, I know there's a huge issue where, landscaping businesses get a ton of leads coming through the door, but they spent hours and hours talking to them only to realize that they were completely unqualified to work with them. Okay, so I thought I would create this video, and I'd like to call it the lead qualification playbook because it's going to give you everything you need to properly qualify leads before you even spend a minute talking to them and seeing if they're a good fit for your company. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Take out a pen and paper, take some notes, and let's make sure that you only talk to qualified leads. All right, guys, so we're here on my computer. So let's just walk through this lead qualification playbook. I made it so that if you're a visual learner, this will be very simple and very easy for you to understand. And of course, if you have any questions afterwards, you can either message me or comment below and I'll make sure to get back to you. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is your most valuable asset. Because when you're a new business, when you're getting started, the most valuable thing you can have is money. Okay. You have time, you have energy. What you don't have is money, right? Therefore, your focus needs to be on booking as many jobs as possible. It doesn't matter if the profit margins are 30% or 10% or 50%. You just need to get money in the bank. Okay, that is the first and most important thing you need to do when you start a business. So if that's you, if you're new to the business, if you're just getting started, this is not for you. Okay, you should not be qualifying leads this hard at all. You need to be focusing on talking to more leads, getting more experience when it comes to sales and marketing. And then once you have an influx of leads, once you have a lot of leads coming in and projects coming in and money coming in, so that you're not worried about it, that is when you want to really start qualifying people so that you only get the projects that you actually want to work on. Okay. The reason I say this is once you have money, once your business is established, okay, and you're not worried about, where the next job is going to come from. You're not worried about if you're going to make money this month or not, if you're going to be able to pay bills, right? Once that's not an issue, the most valuable asset that you have is going to shift from money to time, because once you're not worried about leads coming in and making money, what you won't have is time because you're busy talking to leads and managing your crews and doing other things that are required of you because you own a business. Okay, and because of this, you're not going to have enough time to talk to everybody. So now you want to prioritize who you actually talk to make sure that your time is spent efficiently talking to the right people. Okay, so like I said, if you're just starting out in business, you should not be watching this. This does not apply to you at all. Okay, if you want to learn about it, you can obviously watch it, but don't focus too much on implementing it. Okay, just focus on getting more leads, and we have other trainings about how to generate more leads. So just go to our resources page or check out more of our videos on our YouTube channel, and you'll have a better idea on how to get more leads for your business. Okay, but now that you understand who this training is specifically for, let's dive into it. So like I said, your most valuable asset will shift from money to time, and therefore you need to make sure that your time is spent efficiently talking to people that are actually qualified to work with your business, that are actually interested in getting a quality job done and are willing to invest the necessary money to make it happen. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be discussing today, breaking down for you guys. And after this video, you're going to have a very clear idea on how to make sure that your leads are qualified after they come into the business. Okay, so the first question we need to ask is, who are you trying to keep out? Okay, before you even start qualifying anybody, you need to understand what type of homeowner or what type of person am I looking for? Okay, who do I actually want to work with? Okay, because if you don't know who you want to work with, if you don't know what type of projects you're looking to get, if you don't know how much you want to make per project, for example, you will not have any way to clearly identify who your ideal customer is, as you see right here. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to answer for yourself. Sit down, if you have a pen and paper near you right now, just sit down. Who do I actually want to work with? Just write that down there and answer that question. Either pause this video for now, write it down, answer that question, then continue. Because if you don't have an answer to that question, you will not be able to properly qualify leads. Okay. So when it comes to qualifying leads, I like to focus on 3 areas, which are, number 1, the location. Do they actually live in an area that you service? Because if they don't, then automatically they're disqualified, right? There's no gray area there. Number two is budget, okay? And I don't actually like to ask for a specific budget through the qualification survey or through the assessment call, but I'll walk you through how I actually do this. And lastly, beliefs, okay? How are they actually going to decide who they want to work with? Because you don't want to work with someone that's just cheap and just likes, a cheap job that may break down after a few months, right? You want someone that understands the importance of quality and also understands that quality usually costs a bit more, but in the long term, it'll be worthwhile, okay? So I'll show you how we qualify for these things. But again, just to make a point, make sure you understand who you personally want to work with before you continue and start implementing all this stuff, okay? So like I said, location, that's kind of a given. You figure out what zip codes you service or what cities or what areas you service. And if people are in that area, great. If they're not, then you disqualify them and tell them, hey, sorry, we don't service that area, and you move on. When it comes to the budget question, okay, the way I like to do it is figuring out a minimum for your services if you have one. If you don't have one, then just don't ask this question, period. But if you have a minimum, you're just going to say, hey, our minimum is this much. Is that okay with you? Are you comfortable with that? Okay, because if someone, let's say, wants this whole backyard remodel, but for example, they expect to pay only $10,000, yet your quote is going to be like $50,000. That doesn't mean that you cannot sell them a job, right? It just means that they cannot afford what they want to do, right? So if you qualify them in a way that says, okay, like you're willing to, or you are comfortable spending $5K and up, right? Because they said they're okay with your minimum. So if your quote comes out to $50,000, they say, yeah, our budget is $10,000. You know that you can downsell them a smaller project, right? Because the focus of the qualification process is, can I sell something to this person? Yes or no. Okay. And most of the time people have no idea what things cost. So maybe they wanted a whole, backyard model, but they didn't realize how much that would actually cost. And they may be willing to settle for something smaller, right? If it's going to actually change the whole, outlook of their yard, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what people want. They want a certain problem solved. And if you can help solve that problem, then they'll go with you, right? Pretty simple. And beliefs, right? So when it comes to figuring out the beliefs, so this can get quite complex, but I like to just simplify it to a simple question, and then you can decide from there if it makes sense for you to continue talking to this lead or not, okay? So I like to ask, how will you select the company that you want to work with, okay? Because if they tell you, yeah, I'm just gonna go for the cheapest bid, maybe you're gonna think to yourself, you know what, it doesn't make sense to even bid this quote because I know I'm not gonna be the cheapest, so I'm not gonna spend hours creating a quote and a design or whatever, okay? But if they say, yeah, I'm willing to spend $50,000, right, on this project, for you, you may decide, you know what, let me quote this bid because maybe, I can get them to see why my quote is higher because it's a sizable job, so let me go for it, right? So you want as much information so you can decide on your own, is this lead qualified or not? Okay, and this will help you see how they think about the project, because if they tell you they're gonna go with the cheapest one, then you may decide, you know what, it's not worth my time. But then if you hear what they're willing to spend or what they're looking to do, and then they say, I'm gonna go with the cheapest one, but my budget is $50,000, then if you come in at $45,000, that works for you, right? So that's up to you to decide, okay? So now let's go into the actual qualification flow, okay? Because I want you to understand how this process works and what it looks like, because some of you may be confused how to actually qualify people, what process can I use, what should I not do? So let me break it down for you. So this is the qualification flow, and it's quite simple. Of course, there's some nuances here and there that we can go deeper into qualification survey, into how to do the assessment call and all that stuff. But the focus of this video is about, the qualification playbook. How do I think about qualifying leads, and what can you do to qualify leads a bit further to make sure you don't waste time talking to unqualified leads? Okay, so that's the focus of this video. I'll have future videos that go into, CRMs and how to book people for an estimate and the sales process, right? And more stuff like this. So if you're interested in that, just click the subscribe button below so that you know when I share those videos in the future, okay? But let's keep going. Now, the qualification survey and the assessment call, okay? Those are the two ways to really qualify people, okay? So a new lead is gonna come in through whatever methods you use, ads, referrals, social media, SEO, whatever it is that you do, a lead's gonna come in. And something's going to happen. Either you have a survey, a qualification survey or form on your website or your landing page or whatever you're using, or they come in to just share their contact information and you call them and have an assessment call. Okay, and I'll break this down further in just a second. As you can see, I have these right under here. But from there, the question you're going to ask afterwards is going to be, is this person qualified or not? Okay. Based on these questions that you have, on the criteria that you have selected, you're going to ask, does this person fit this criteria or not? If they don't, you don't book them in. You tell them, hey, we're only available 6 months out, or you give them another excuse, right? Don't just turn people away and say, sorry, I don't think you're qualified for us, because that will lead to resentment and that can lead to negative reviews that you don't deserve, right? And other issues. So instead you want to say, yeah, we would love to help you out. The issue is that our next available date to start is going to be 6-7 months from now. So if you'd like, I can get in touch with you then when we're more available to you, or they themselves say, oh, we're looking to do this now, so I guess we're going to look for another company, right? And that's it. If they're qualified, you want to create a new opportunity in your CRM, right? And if you don't have a CRM, I would highly recommend that you start using one, even if it's just a simple Google Sheet. I'm actually working on creating a template for you guys. It's going to be free. You can download it and start using it for yourself. But it's very important because a CRM will allow you to really keep track of your leads and what's happening with each one of them. And that way you don't forget to reach out to people or send a quote or a design or whatever it is that you need to do for that specific lead. Okay. So you add a new opportunity in your CRM, you book an in-person estimate. Okay. So if the qualification survey is filled out and they're qualified, they should be automated. I mean, you need to be leveraging automation in your business, but there should be a process that lets them quickly book an estimate right away. Or you can, just get a notification that says, hey, a new qualified lead just came in, and you call them up directly as soon as they come in, and then you book them in through the phone. Okay. From there, of course, we continue the sales process. And like I said, I'm going to have other videos that break this down a bit further, so you have a good idea on the sales process I recommend people use. Okay. So now that we just mentioned the qualification survey and the assessment call, let's talk more about those. Okay, so there's 2 ways to do this. And for the assessment call, if you want our full script on how to run this call with people, just go to our website, rootflow.co, and it'll be there under the resources. Okay, so there's 2 ways, qualification and assessment calls. The qualification survey is, again, a survey. Just going to ask questions. People are going to select answers, and that's that. So the way you want to do this is, again, you want to make sure that they're qualified based on your criteria. So again, zip code, this, when they come in, that will let you know, okay, is this person in my area or not? Then you want to know the timeline. Okay, when are you actually looking to start this project? Because if they tell you, yeah, I'm not really sure, I'm looking to start this a year from now or 6 months from now, then it may not make sense to even, deal with them right now, unless it's winter time, right? If it's winter, you want to pre-book those projects, right? And have them on the schedule ready to go by the time spring comes, so that you know that you have work lined up for you. Okay. Then you want to ask for some project details just to see how serious they are. Maybe you can get measurements from them that way, and you can kind of get an idea of the size of the project before you reach out to them. From there, you want to ask the budget or minimum question, right? So our project starts at X. Are you comfortable with that? Yes or no? If they say no, then obviously they're not going to even be willing to spend your minimum. Therefore, they're unqualified right away. So you need to contact them. Are you requesting multiple quotes? So, okay, these 2 questions, I don't recommend you add them right away. I only recommend you add them once you have a lot of incoming leads. Okay, because what you're doing by adding more and more and more questions is you are lowering the volume that you get. Okay, so the more questions means more barriers means less volume. Okay, so you want to start out easy. Just ask zip code, project detail, timeline, and project details. After you figure out a way of getting, a huge volume of leads consistently, then you can add this question, for example. And that's definitely going to drop the volume, which is okay, because again, we're looking for qualified leads. And then once that is getting you a consistent amount of leads, you can add these 2 questions. So I recommend adding these 2 together because they kind of go hand in hand. So the way I do this for my clients is, if someone says they are requesting multiple quotes, then we're going to ask them this question. If they say they're not requesting multiple quotes, we won't ask them this question. So it'll be based on the logical responses of people on the survey. Okay, so after they answer these questions, we get their contact info, and then we have automations in place to kind of get them to book the estimates and things like that, which I'll talk about in a different video. Okay, so that is the qualification survey. Now the assessment call, okay, again, like I just said, you can access the full script on how to run through this call on our website, referral.co. Go to resources and you'll see it there. So in terms of the assessment call, you want to achieve certain targets, right, or goals. So the first one is you want to understand their needs, okay? That is the first part of selling anything, right? You need to understand what the prospect needs to see if you can actually help them out, okay? Sales is not about just selling as many jobs as you can. It's about helping people get what they need or what they want. Okay, so first you want to understand their needs. What are you looking to get done? Is there a specific reason why you're looking to do this, right? You really want to understand what they want and why they want it. Because they say, oh yeah, I just want a patio. And you leave it at that. You say, cool, a patio, awesome, I'll get you a price. You're not diving deeper into the actual problem. Why do they want a patio? Why not just leave the grass? Is they want to host parties? Is it they're tired of the muddy yard, right? What is the actual reason that they want to install a patio in their home? Okay, from there, you want to see if they have measurements, right? Because from there, you can actually be able to give them a ballpark and kind of gauge their reaction to that ballpark, okay? So you ask for measurements. If they don't have them, you say, cool, no worries. We can go out there, take measurements ourselves and whatever, okay? From their timeline, you want to see, okay, and how soon are you looking to get this project done? Is it in the next week, immediately, in the next 6 months, a year, right? And again, that also gives you an idea of how serious they are about this, because if you're on the call and tell, yeah, we want to do this later next year, so a year from now, you want to maybe get more information as to why so far out and see how serious they actually are about this, okay? And of course, you want to also listen in on how they're reacting, how they talk, which that will give you an idea of how they think about this, if they're a nice person to deal with, if they're going to be an annoying client, right? Which are also important piece of information, because you don't want to deal with bad clients, right? You want to avoid that. So that is, the qualification survey, this assessment call. Again, if you guys have questions, just shoot me a message or comment below the video and I'll make sure to get back to you guys. But now let's go into another thing that actually, I don't think a lot of people think about this stuff. I think most people just kind of ignore this or don't realize it's there. So I thought I would really point it out here and show you guys how different types of barriers affect your lead quality, okay? So the first type of barrier I want to talk to is going to be external barriers. So this is based on the content and how your website or how your brand is pictured, right, or line, or is how it's built. So I'm just going to give you this quick example, and hopefully this will be able to drive the point home. So when you're making content, right, you have viewers, you have an audience, right? So they see the content. Now that content, right, can lead to people being more interested in working with you or less interested in working with you. Okay, as you can see, the content will either resonate with an audience or it will repel an audience, which means that they don't like the content, they didn't resonate with it, and from there they're gonna unfollow you because they don't like what you're putting out, which is fine, right? I'm not saying you need to be someone you're not when you're creating content. You should actually be yourself, you should be authentic, because that is actually going to create a much stronger bond with your audience. Okay, but it's the reality. So the first piece of information you need to figure out when creating content is, who do I want to watch this content? Who do I want to attract with this content? Because all of your content needs to be made for a specific type of person, and that is going to define how you make content, what type of content you create, and what else you will do later on. Okay, because if you don't think about this and you start setting random pictures at a bar or parties and things like that don't resonate with a certain type of person, then you're going to repel those people. Okay, so that's what you need to think about when creating content. Okay, so now if the content resonates, they're gonna engage, they're gonna like, comment, share, and over time they're gonna see more of your content, and eventually at some point in time they're gonna reach out to you, right? And they're gonna become a lead. Okay, and that is the external barriers. Okay, what you put out into the world is going to come back to you. I know that may sound a little bit woo-woo or out there, but it's the truth. Okay, if you're putting out content of beautiful landscapes and homes that are big and beautiful, you're gonna attract homeowners that have similar homes that want similar projects, right? On the other hand, if you put out content of you in a random car or at the beach or something like that, which does not relate at all to landscaping business, then you're not gonna attract any homeowners that need landscaping, right? It's pretty straightforward. The second type of barrier is internal, which is what we've been discussing all this time, right? See, these are internal barriers, which is because they're barriers that you set yourself within your business internally based off of the people that you want to work with. Okay, so this is what that process looks like. Okay, so again, they become a lead. from the external ones, and they go to the survey, and the survey, and you qualify them, etc., etc. In this case, these leads come from elsewhere. They don't come from content. They come from either ads, but again, ads also fulfill this external barrier scenario or rule, right? Because ads are built specifically for a specific type of audience, right? Same as your content should be. So in this case, you come from either SEO, ads, or any other type of method, which again is based off of this, but now they're being directed at the internal barriers, okay? So again, this we just discussed here, it's the same process, this one right here. So they're either qualified or disqualified. If they're disqualified, you don't know follow, you kind of like let them go. So we discard them. Okay, and that's that. Now, if they're qualified, you get in touch with them and you lock them in for an in-person estimate. You continue the sales process, etc., etc. Now, with leads that were disqualified, this one is up to you really, but there's multiple things you can do. Okay, so one is you can either just remove them from your list and never talk to them again, or you can keep them in your email list because you never know how leads will evolve over time. Okay, and the name of the game when it comes to marketing and growing a business is that you should have a list of leads that you can always reach out to and send emails to and text messages to and offers to, because if, for example, over a year you're advertising, you're putting out content, you're growing your business, you're going to accumulate names, emails, and phone numbers of people that at some point were interested in doing some landscaping work. Okay, now let's say after you have a list of 1,000 people, right? And then every month you are adding 100 people to that list or 20 people to the list. It doesn't really matter how many people, but you're always growing that list. So let's say every quarter, every 3 months, you send an email, hey, we're offering a $500 discount to the next people that book a project, right? But you're sending out to 1,000, 2,000 people. So even if you get a 1% response rate, that means that out of 2,000 people, 2 people are reaching out saying, hey, yeah, I'm interested, let's do something. So you're getting 2 jobs out of sending an email, right? Which costs you nothing, by the way. So that is something you want to think about. And again, we'll talk more about this in depth in our marketing playbook that I'm actually building right now. So if you want to learn more about that, just go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. That way you'll get notified when I share that playbook. But yeah, moving on. So again, I want to make a very, very important point about this whole qualification playbook. And that means that you need to really understand where you're at in business. Okay, we're going back to this because this may all sound amazing, like, oh my God, I'm going to get only qualified leads. They're going to be super qualified. They're going to be great. I'm not going to waste any time talking to target kickers or anything like that, which is amazing. That's the dream of any business owner. But again, if you're just starting out and your most valuable asset is money, then you should not be doing this because you need the volume. Okay, you need to have as many leads in your pipeline as possible so you can start developing deals and projects. Okay, and then once you have a consistent inflow of leads, right, into your business where you are no longer worried about where leads are going to come from, where projects are going to come from, you're not worried about how you're going to pay the bills or if you're even going to make money this month. Once that's no longer an issue, then your most valuable asset is time, because again, you want to spend that time efficiently. All right. So with that being said, make sure you're not jumping into this whole process too early in business. Think it through. Understand who your ideal customer is before you implement anything, because then you're just gonna kick yourself in the foot. Okay, and just follow the process. Okay, it's super simple. It's nothing too complex. You just need to actually do it and implement it. Okay, now if you want access to this whole, I guess PDF or file, let me know and I can definitely send that over to you. And also, if you want to kind of come back into this and kind of like review certain stuff, we have a written version of this on our website. Again, go to here, rootflow.co, hit the resources button, and you'll access the lead qualification playbook in a written form. You can see all of this as well, the script and everything else. Okay, so that is it for this video. I hope you found it valuable, and go ahead and implement it. Let me know if you have any questions and let me know how it goes for you. Okay, so have a great day. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button below so that you know when I share more content like this. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.